עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל העולם. יעשה שלום, שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. ועל כל יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל העולם.
A 1, 2, 3, 4.
וחופנו בספר החיים למענך מה טובו אוהליך יעקב, משכנותיך ישראל. מה טובו אוהליך יעקב, משכנותיך ישראל. ואני ברוב חסדך אבוא ותך אשתחווה אל היכל קודשך ביראתך. מה טובו אוהליך יעקב, משכנותיך ישראל. מה טובו אוהליך.
Shalom, it's Rabbi Flip from Congregation Micah's patio out back behind our sanctuary. We've got this big campus that you should know about, a place where you can connect with your spiritual community. I'm using the shofar, the announcing tool, to make a few short announcements as the holy days quickly approach. The first is that we hope you'll join us either in person or virtually this coming Monday night and Tuesday as we celebrate Rosh Hashanah, the new year. We also want you to consider coming by and picking up a copy of our High Holy Day Prayer and Memorial book, which is just meant to help you, guide you through the experience. And we want everyone to know that while we ask that everyone be vaccinated and wear masks inside the building, that on the afternoon after our morning service of Rosh Hashanah, we're going to come back out here to our campus, which is big and spacious, and everybody is invited to make the sacred pilgrimage back to the back of our campus on the Little Harpeth River as we let it in, let it out, and let it go, all the negativity of the years before. So we hope you'll join us for the Holy Day season. We wish you a Shana Tova Mituka, a sweet and happy New Year.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Shabbat Shalom.
It feels nice to say everyone because it feels like there's an everyone in the sanctuary tonight, which we really appreciate. So for those of you who are visiting Micah for the first time, and there are many of you, welcome to Congregation Micah. We hope you'll consider joining us for the Holy Days as well, either in person or virtually. Everything is on our website if you are, and it's just nice to open Shabbat with you. And as I said, the days of awe are upon us. The shofar will blow. It'll shake us by the shoulders. With bread in hand, we'll head out to the river on Tuesday, and we'll take time and give thanks and cast our regrets free. We hold our breath with weighty anticipation as we watch the crumbs float away, as if we put a message in the bottle that says, please forgive us, pardon us, and let us start again. Let this new year bring new hope, new possibilities, and a fresh start. On Monday evening, as the sun begins to set, we'll gather once again, really in a less than conventional manner. Some of us will be in person, some will be virtual. We'll stand together, we'll lean on one another, we'll sway in sync to the beautiful sounds of the new year as we ready ourselves for the blessings of the day, the array of choices and possibilities that a new year bring. And the breath within us can be used to say, how great is this moment, an opportunity to begin again, a second chance at life lived unapologetically, fiercely dedicated to bettering the world around us. And so on this Shabbat, I invite you to let yourself go, to dive deep into the meaning of our prayers, to allow yourself to be inspired by what you will hear and see and feel. Look around at those who have come into our space tonight with this very same intention. We, those of you here in person, those of you on the other side of that lens, we are one community. We are here, and on the Shabbat, we stand ready to begin a new year. We'll do that by lighting our Shabbat candles. I'd like to invite Pat and Rich and Maddie forward to do that at this time.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lahadlik ner shel Shabbat. Praised are you, Adonai, our God, creator of the universe, creator of the universe. By your commandments we are sanctified as we kindle the lights of Shabbat.
We continue welcoming in the Shabbat with the words of Lecha Dodi.
Lecha dodi lekakalai, alalai, 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 b'nei Shabbat, lekalalai. Lecha dodi lekakalai, alalai, 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 b'nei Shabbat, lekalalai. Shamor v'zachor v'dibur echad, ishmi'anu el hamiyuchad. Adonai echad, Shabbat lekabala lechadodi lekakala yalala 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 b'nei Shabbat lekabala.
I'll keep you standing, if you don't mind, for just another moment as we recite the words of Hatzi Kaddish.
יתגדל ויתקדש מרבה.
Amen.
בעלמא תברך ידותי, וימליך מלכותי, בחיי חון וביום החון, ובחיי לכל בית ישראל. בגלה ובזמן קריב, ואמרו
Amen.
יהי שמי רבה מבורך, לעולם ולעלמי עלמיה, יתברך, יתברך וישתבח, ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא, ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל, שמי דקודשה, לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה, דהמירם בעלמא, ואמרו
Amen. Am I awake? Am I prepared? We call ourselves into the sacred time and space as we continue with the words of the Baruch Hu.
Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach Baruch Adonai HaMevorach HaMevorach Leolam Vaed HaMevorach HaMevorach Leolam Vaed.
We continue welcoming in evening, and I will just say the breath of fresh air of some cooler weather that we'll take with the words of Mariv Arvim.
Ya da 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 da. Ya da 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 ya da 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 da. Ya da 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 ya da 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 da. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bidvaro mariv aravim mariv aravim בחוכמה פותח שערים ובתבונה משנה עיתים ומחליף את הזמנים ומסדר הכוכבים במשמרותיהם ברקיע כרצונו ידי די 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 ידי די 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 חושך וחושך מפני אור מעביר יום ומביאים לילה מבדיל בין יום ובין לילה אדוני צבאות שמו יאי די 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 יאי די 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 יאי די 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 יאי די 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 יאי די 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 די
the mitzvah on Rosh Hashanah is not to blow the shofar, but to listen to it. And that may be because only one person can blow, but many can listen. But I would like to think that it's actually teaching the Jewish version of why we have one mouth and two ears. Because as much as we need to say things, and we're very good at that, we need to hear things even more. We live in a culture that prizes self-expression. There are classes in creative writing, journaling, speaking, all the ways in which we can bring forth what is inside of us. But few and far between are those who instruct us in how to listen. The shofar reminds us that the greatest lessons have already been taught. The wisdom exists out in the world. And the trick is not to reinvent, but in fact to discover. And we discover best by listening. So as we listen to the shofar this year, may it be a spur to listening. The world offers a symphony of sounds and many, many wonderful words. Our next prayer reminds us as well, Shema, hear them, O Israel.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. 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 Baruch Shem Kavod Malchuto Leolam Vaed. Baruch Shem Kavod Malchuto Leolam Vaed. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad.
We continue chanting together with the words of Ve'ahavta.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבבך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
We remember the stories of slavery, the fear at the edge of the sea, but we also remember the unbelievable taste and feel of freedom and how it made us want to sing out, Mi chamocha, who is like you, our God, Redeemer of our people.
מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נהדר בקודש,
In the evening, we pray the prayer of Hashkivenu. It's a prayer for protection, as our screens remind us. On the holidays, the holy days, we pray the prayer of Hashivenu, Hashkivenu, Hashivenu, which means to return. There's a connection and an innate relationship between protection and returning. Right? Only can we feel safe when we are able to come close and proximate to those we trust and love. So this time of year is about returning to what matters, to who matters to us, to the priorities and people that should be central in our lives. And it is through that returning that we really garner the most protection and safety.
Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom V'hamidenu shomreinu l'chayim Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom V'hamidenu shomreinu l'chayim Ufros aleinu sukkot, sukkot shlomecha, v'hoshienu leman shamecha. Help us to know that you're near, that your presence is here. Let us lie down in peace every night. And when we rise in the day, keep us sheltered, we pray. Guide us, God, with your love and your light. Baruch atah Adonai, haporeh sukkot shalom, aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom V'hamidenu shomreinu l'chayim Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom V'hamidenu shomreinu l'chayim.
So a little secret, and Joy Baum and I were talking about this, she didn't even realize in the foyer before services, that we have like a special award for those of you who come to the Shabbat right before the holidays begin. And if you want this sort of double gold medal, if you come to the Shabbat between Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur. So thank you for being here. You don't need to be reminded that this is a covenant upon us, but we're going to sing about it anyway.
V'shamaru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat l'dorotam l'itolam. A day of restoration, a cleansing of the soul, for all the broken pieces once again to me made whole, to celebrate the wonder of creation and the gift of time. Beini uvein b'nei Yisrael, odi le'olam, kisheshid yamim asa Adonai et hashamayim ve'et haaretz, uvayom hashvi'i shavat vayinafash. A day of restoration, a cleansing of the soul, for all the broken pieces celebrate the wonder of creation and the gift of time. A day to appreciate the sacred in our world.
Miss Lisa, who wrote that beautiful version?
Well, actually, I did.
I know, you're such a gloater. But Miss Lisa, I was telling her, well, probably about 10 years ago, that I just really, the standard version of a Shamru.
The Shamru.
Yeah, I don't know why, but it just grates on me. So every time we'd sing it, I would say, oh, we're doing that one. And then Miss Lisa, out of the blue, said, guess what? I wrote my own Shamru, because that's what she can do. It's really amazing. We're going to rise together for the Amidah.
Adonai sifatai tiftach ufi yagi tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu v'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu. Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah. Ha'el HaGadol, HaGibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'Konei HaKol, V'Zocher Chasdei Avot v'Imahot, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה. מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם ועזרת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיי הכל אתה רב להושיע. מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות, ומידו מלך, מלך ממיד ומחיה, ומצמיח ישועה. ונאמר אתה להחיות הכל, ברוך אתה אדוני, מחיי הכל. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יעלוך הסלע. ברוך אתה אדוני, האל הקדוש.
Talking to God is not always easy. Some might find it outright uncomfortable. But that, to be honest, is the point, because when we share the things inside of us that are our deepest yearnings or our biggest secrets, our secret wishes, even our unspeakable sins, our hearts are cracked open. Because prayer might connect us to God, but it most assuredly forces us to become intimately acquainted with our own souls. And most of all, whether we like it or not, prayer helps us to remember our hopes for ourselves and the people we love, for this world. It reminds us that we have the strength and courage to realize whatever we must and most desperately long to achieve. So we pause now for silent prayer, and I invite you to pray. Pray for peace or healing, for advances in science, for strength to eradicate things like poverty, sickness. Pray for the courage to overcome injustice. Pray for resolve. Pray for others, and pray for yourself. Pray to God with all of your heart, with all your might, with all of your soul, so that when we emerge from our individual prayer, we might together meet the challenges that lie ahead.
Shalom, shalom, shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha, tasim, tasim, tasim לעולם, כי אתה הוא מלך הדור, לכל השלום, כי אתה הוא מלך הדור, לכל השלום. שלום, שלום, שלום רב על ישראל עמך, תשים, תשים, תשים לעולם. וטוב בעיניך לברך את עמך ישראל בכל עת ובכל שעה לשלומך. שלום, שלום, שלום רב על ישראל עמך, תשים, תשים, תשים לעולם, תשים לעולם.
Along our life's journey, our bodies and souls suffer moments of pain and bruising and brokenness. Our prayer for healing is an opportunity to ask that God give us and the ones we love strength as we traverse a path toward healing. I'll invite you in a moment to share the name of someone you might be praying for on this Shabbat. I'll share the names from our synagogue community list. And we'll ask that the one who blesses all life bless and heal all those who are struggling in body, soul, and spirit. May those afflicted be blessed with faith and courage, loving and caring from family and friends near and far. And as Moses pleaded to God for the healing of his sister Miriam, El na rafana la, God, please heal her, we too ask that God heal the ones that we love. We think of Steve Geringer, Savannah Morris, Jane Sherberg, Paul Richter, Crystal Miller, Charlie Baugh, Monette Chance, Mickey Collins, Karen Eisner, T.J. Cohen, Dick Eskind, Steve Gould, B.B. Weinstein, Alex Morgan, Bill Drongowski, Rudy Saperstein, Polly Lankford, Lee Cohen, Clarence Yarborough, Connie Yarborough, Gail Hooper, Julie Collins, Edria Ragusin, Janice Grossman, Jill Gutnicht, Malcolm Arrington, Florence Wittenstein Saperstein, Mike Harris, and Alan Mandel. Please share other names you're thinking of.
Susan Bruner.
Dr. David Albert.
Dear God of our ancestors,
Dear God of our ancestors,
help us renew our faith.
help us renew our faith.
Grant us a perfect healing.
Grant us a perfect healing.
Bring peace to all our days.
Bring peace to all our days.
Na refana la, refana la nu. El na Restore our strength of body.
Restore our strength of body.
Help clarify our mind.
Help clarify our mind.
Refresh our tired spirit.
Refresh our tired spirits.
Rejuvenate our lives.
Rejuvenate our
El
lives.
na refana la, refana la nu. El na refana la, refana la nu. Thank you for all these blessings.
Thank you for all these blessings.
Throughout our days and nights.
Throughout our days and nights.
We celebrate the journey.
We celebrate the journey.
This precious gift of life.
This precious gift of
El
life.
na refana la, refana la nu. El na refana la, refana la nu. El na refana la, refana la nu. El na refana la, refana la nu.
So my daughter came home from school on her first day of 10th grade this year and promptly announced that her friend Sarah, a friend since middle school, was now they. Feeling hip and with the times, I knew exactly what she meant. What she meant was that Sarah no longer identified herself as a singular female, but rather as non-binary, non-gender conforming, as everything and all things, male and female, everything in between. Well, or nothing in between, as all gender and no gender. Sarah was now they. I was catching up with a friend whose son attends a college in the San Francisco Bay Area, and my friend mentioned that in her son's dormitory, all of the students were asked to put their gender pronoun preferences on their door at the beginning of the semester. This is an increasingly common trend at colleges so that resident advisors and other students won't use, or in fact will use, the proper term for someone who does not identify in conventional male or female ways. Now, while this may have started out as a West Coast thing, it certainly is not a passing fad. Pronouns may be small as far as the number of letters involved, but their impact and their meaning is profound and deep. If you don't know what gender-neutral pronouns are, or if you don't know anyone who goes by such pronouns, you're not alone. According to a recent study by the Pew Research Center, only 22% of US adults have heard really anything about the use of gender-neutral pronouns, while 38% have heard something. 39% have heard nothing at all. Only 1 in 5 Americans say they personally know someone who goes by a pronoun other than he or she. And unsurprisingly, young adults are more likely to know someone who goes by a pronoun such as they instead of he or she. Now, way back in 2017, way long ago, anything before COVID feels like way back, Time magazine did a cover story entitled "Beyond He or She: How a New Generation is Redefining the Meaning of Gender." And in a summary of that story, Time writer Katie Steinmetz says that a growing number of millennials don't see gender as either this or that. They instead see gender identity as a spectrum. She writes, "This variety of identities is something that people are seeing reflected in the culture at large. Facebook, with its 1 billion users, has about 60 options for users' gender." Confused? Well, it's understandable. But learning a few terms will help you navigate this discussion. First, Gender identity is different than sexual orientation. According to the Human Rights Campaign, gender identity is the innermost concept of self as male, female, a blend of both, or neither. Sexual orientation is to whom you are romantically attracted and can't be predicted by gender identity. Some common terms you might hear or read to describe people who don't identify with being put in traditional male or female categories are gender neutral, non-binary, gender nonconforming, agender, gender fluid. Transgender refers to someone whose identity does not correspond to their assigned sex at birth. And cisgender refers to someone who does identify with their birth sex. I know it's a lot of information, but consider this fact about the English language. First-person pronouns, I, me for singular, or we, us for plural, and second-person pronouns, you, for both singular and plural, are already gender neutral. It's only the third-person pronoun in the singular use that is gender-specific, she, her, he, him. It's these third-person plural pronouns that are actually also neutral, they, them. So if you want to be respectful towards someone who does not identify with the traditional gender categories, you can either ask them how they want to be referred to, a third-person reference, or instead just use their name without pronouns. As mentioned previously, there are numerous options for gender terms, but the most common are he, him, she, her, they, them. But Hebrew is not as malleable. Consider our Torah this week, Parshat Nitzavim, which begins with the words, Atem Nitzavim Hayom Kulchem, you, masculine plural, stand here today, all of you, again, masculine plural, Lifnei Adonai Elohechem, before Adonai, your, masculine plural again, God. Our Torah is replete with gender pronouns as a way to summon and identify who exactly constitutes the community. Often the community is male. Sometimes it's male with females also included, but even then, because of the way Hebrew language functions, the plural pronouns are always masculine. And God, as we well know, in our Torah and in our traditional prayers, is almost exclusively referred to in the masculine. Judaism, like the other Western monotheistic faith traditions of Christianity and Islam, is patriarchal in its theology and in its language. But there are organizations and modern scholars at work in the field today who are providing us with really interesting new insights, and some, frankly, not so new, insights into the Hebrew language and revealing previously unknown nuance with regards to gender. So let's just look at a few texts. Take the obvious or well-known text from Genesis 5. When God created Adam, he, God, made him, Adam, in the likeness of God. Male and female, God created them. Now, one of my mentors and upcoming Women's Circle guest, the editor-in-chief of Lilith magazine, Susan Weidman Schneider, interprets this verse as a merism, like thick and thin, or young and old. As such, male and female, God created them, can be read as God created male and female and every combination in between. The Talmud backs Schneider's interpretation when Rabbi Jeremiah ben Elazar writes, when the Holy One, blessed be the One, created the first Adam, God created Adam androgynous. And there it is written, when God created the Adam, God made Adam in the likeness of God, male and female, God created them. Avram and Sarah, our first Jews in the Torah, are described by our sages as tumtumim, one of the categories in the Talmud for those of indistinguishable gender or genitalia. Sarah is also described in the Talmud as an Ilonit, or one who appears as a woman but cannot give birth. Our forefather Jacob is described as a mild man of the camp, displaying an alternate masculinity to Esau's hairiness, smell, and hunting. And Joseph, a central figure in the transition of the Jewish people from Canaan to Exodus, is an ancestor whose clothing is remarked upon repeatedly and whose appearance is described using adjectives for a princess, and who must come out to a family that does not recognize him. Rebekah is referred to multiple times as Na'ar, which means young man, instead of Na'arah, young woman. And Rabbi Yochanan of the Talmud has a beauty that is described at length. Now, some of you might be thinking, boy, Rabbi, you've really lost your marbles, and clearly you are so engrossed in Rosh Hashanah prep that you have stretched on this sermon for Shabbat. But those who educate others on gender identity issues remind us that one's gender is very important to a person's self-esteem and affects how one operates in society. When our faith and our Jewish story is important to us, being able to see ourselves in those who came before us and connected to the Jewish chain of tradition matters. And because you cannot always visually tell if someone is cisgender, transgender, non-binary, and so on, advocates insist that asking for a person's pronouns is respectful and helps alleviate stress for that person in social situations. Moreover, Joy Layden, Gottsman Professor of English at Yeshiva University, writes, "When we insist that God is male, we define women as a lesser form of humanity, in which the image of God is blurrier and less perfectly realized than it is in men. When we recognize that God, who existed before humanity, was even a glimmer in God's eye, who will still be there after the universe itself has vanished, cannot possibly be just male or female, then we recognize that everyone created in God's image is also vaster and more complicated and more mysterious than any gender can encompass. And when we realize that neither God nor humanity fits within the terms of gender, we recognize that being male or female is not essential to being human. An insight that helps us see that transgender people too, that all people are created in the image of God. For those of us who write and edit, the thought of using they to refer to just one person makes our red pencils twitch a bit. There's a red pencil person right here. We've been trained that they is a plural pronoun. For example, the sentence, "Ask each student what they want for lunch," is grammatically incorrect, and instead should read, "Ask each student what he or she wants for lunch." The Merriam-Webster dictionary now includes the following as a definition for they. Quote, "used to refer to a single person whose gender identity is non-binary." An article on the Merriam-Webster website explains that the use of they as singular dates back to, you're never going to guess, the 1300s. The article states, "People have used singular they to describe someone whose gender is unknown for a long time, but the non-binary use of they is relatively new." Merriam-Webster reminds readers that you has been used as a singular pronoun for years, although it was originally a plural pronoun. Now, we understand this as Nashvillians, right? Because we know that you can be plural. That's why we often say, "We welcome y'all," instead of "we welcome you," because to our ears it sounds strange to say you to refer to more than one person, but y'all is perfectly acceptable English. Language changes as culture changes, and the more we hear or read a different use of a word, the easier it is to adapt to that change. Parshat Nitzavim, our Torah today, is not just our Torah for this Shabbat, but it's also the Torah that we're going to read on Yom Kippur morning, and we do every year. Commentaries often point out that this opening verse reminds us that the Torah belongs to every one of us, not just to the experts. May we also be reminded and celebrate that the Torah belongs to all of us, especially on the holy day of Yom Kippur, when we are beckoned to reflect on the ways in which we have not fully opened our tent or our hearts to those around us, to those we love, to those who need us to see them as fully human and whole. This year, as we read Nitzavim, may we celebrate that Torah belongs to all of us, not just to the experts, but to the whole Jewish community, with all of its various pronouns and identities. Atem nitzavim hayom kulchem, You, male and female, everyone in between, stand here today, all y'all, the full spectrum of humanity, lifnei Adonai Elohechem, before Adonai, your collective God, the reflective image of each one of you together. Shabbat Shalom. I invite you to please rise for Aleinu.
Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, l'teit gedula liotzer bereshit, shelo asanu kegegei haratzot, v'lo samanu kemishpachot ha'adama, shelo sam chelkeinu kahem, v'gor aleinu kachol hamonam, v'anachnu korim, u'mishtachavim u'modim, lifnei melech malchei hamlachim hakadosh baruch hu v'nemar v'haya Adonai lamelech al kol haaretz bayom hahu yeh Adonai echad u'shemo echad.
We think of those whose yortzites fall on this Shabbat and honor the memories of Alvin Goldsmith, Bella Krasoff, Ben Millman, Betty Cohen, Dr. Gilbert Barkin, Frida Kaplan, Harry Abram, Helen Green, Irene Schindler, Max Zuckerman, Milton Bayer, Minnie Rotman Eppinger, Rich Moschel, Richard Clemmer Marcus, Richard Dewey, Samuel Heyman, Sandra Eli, Shirley Benjamin, and Sophie Sabin. We continue mourning for for Henry Foyer, Dr. Bob Sirkin, Aidan Becker, Robert Golden, Des Zamek, Elaine Farinacci, Rabbi Jonathan Sachs, Charlene Krahili, John Giffen, Faye Sirkin, Joyce Murray, Richard Bourne, Fran Schmerling, Peggy West, Christopher Miller, Molly Stein, Alfred Cohen, Joseph Blumenthal, Leonard Baxt, Joanne Cohen, Jack Chirac, Hilda Jackman, Peter Weiss, Mary Frank, Gersha Rogers, Rabbi Richard Hirsch, and Bernard Bublik. Please share the names of anyone I did not mention. Yitgadal v'yit kadash shemei rabbah, ve'amad divrach yirtei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayakon v'yomechon uv'chayei d'chol beit Yisrael, ba'agala uv'izman kariv imru amen. Yehei shmei rabbah mevarach le'olam olmei almaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitroman v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei d'kudusha barichu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, da'amiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru amen. Osei shalom b'mromav, hu ya'asei shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru amen. Zichronam livracha, may the memories of our loved ones be every day a blessing. Amen. Please be seated for a few brief announcements, beginning with, as always, Torah study tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. It's on Zoom. The link is either in your e-blast or via the website. High Holy Day Choir rehearsal this Sunday, the 5th at 4 p.m. You already know that if you're in the choir, and it's too late to join if you're not. I would say, right?
Yes.
You probably can't join this Sunday. All right. We love you. We're welcoming, but not that welcoming. Okay. So, Rosh Hashanah, 7:30?
Yes.
Okay.
7:30. Yes.
I don't know, I'll be here a lot before that. So whenever you come, we'll start. 7:30 on Monday night. Oh, here it is. See, it says it right here. Very helpful. So please join us, vaccinated and masked, for all our sanctuary Holy Day services. And then Tuesday morning begins at 10 a.m., followed by 12 o'clock outside Tashlich, and I think there'll be some snacks handed out, and we're going to hear the shofar blown again outside. We'll have the shofar in the sanctuary, we'll have the shofar outside, because we want to make sure our younger members get to partake in that as well. So that will all be outside at 12 o'clock. No services will not go from 10 to 12. They will go past 11, but not to 12 o'clock. Yes, okay, good, because we're all wearing masks, and we don't want to be wearing our mask for 3 hours in here. It's not a good idea. Okay, Schmooze and Views continues on Thursday at 10:30, always Thursday at 10:30. Cemetery service, it's truly beautiful. Even if you don't have a loved one buried out in our cemetery, if you have someone that you've lost in years past, it is a wonderful opportunity to come and honor their memory and share in some music and some prayer together and some sharing. It's a 1-hour service. We do have a tent. It will be outside. That's nice. Please join me Saturday at 10:30. That's a week from tomorrow. PJ Library Young Family event will be hosted here Sunday, September 12th at 10 a.m. It will be outside. All young ones welcome. We'd love to have you and any young ones that you want to bring. Yom Kippur services. You can find information and all of that on our website, and please bring your Bellevue Food Bank donations during Yom Kippur. Again, all that information is on our website. Finally, really important, you guys, we are seeking volunteers for our All-Inclusive Federation booth at Nashville Pride on September 18th. We don't have enough volunteers. We need more. If you're interested, please contact Brandy in our office. And of course, like us on all of the socials, which I don't know how to use half of, but apparently they're really fun and there's lots of good stuff there. All right, let's make Kiddush. Please rise.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho v'hava uvratzon hinchilanu zikaro l'maaseh v'reishit ki hu yom techila l'mikra'e kodesh zecher l'tziat mitzrayim ki vanu v'acharta v'otanu kidashta mikol ha'amim v'shabbat kodshecha v'ahava uvratzon hinchaltanu Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh hashabbat
L'chaim.
Do we have a live closing song or a video closing song?
What's on tap, Misty?
Well, all right then, we're gonna go live.
Okay. Shabbat shalom, everyone. Oh, say shalom, shalom b'mromav. Yaseh shalom. Oh, say shalom, shalom b'mromav. Yaseh shalom. Oh, say shalom b'mromav. Shalom aleichem. Shabbat shalom, everyone. Have a restful, peaceful Shabbat.